Welcome back to number 4. So, we need to follow Yonah. Yay.
Okay.
Better or worse than Yonah?
No. Okay. No more. What good punishment could we give? No more. What does she usually do to have fun?
Well, Pedro, remember, she's extremely sick. Go ahead,
And
Liz.
not for nothing, Theo, but that doesn't excuse misbehaving.
True.
So we're gonna give her a spanking then?
Well, no, remember, but she likes to read, so I guess no books for a while.
Can't believe she really went to the lost shrine.
You know, about the sickness, she seems to function rather well with it still.
That's because the sickness is quite peculiar, but we will discover more about it later. For now, we have to follow this path to the lost shrine. This path is pretty much linear, as you can see.
When it comes to the overall art design,
Also goats.
Goats. Okay. Not so much the characters. Who did the character design, by the way? Theo?
I forgot. Honestly, it wasn't anyone particular.
I know Yoshida. I know Yoshida did the Automata, but
not for this one.
But no, not I know it wasn't Yoshida who did this one. I'm just whatever. Well, the environments themselves, like Theo already told me this, but I get the feeling that Yoko Taro is a big fan of Ueda because the look of the environments remind me a lot of a Team Eco game.
True, I can see that.
And he was even playing Last Guardian in that video we saw, so yeah, I guess that would make sense.
Anyway, the artists were Yosho Kamikubo, Shogo Tojo, and Kimihiko Fujisaka. Don't remember any particular one of these. Anyway, as we can also slaughter goats to get either a goat hide or goat meat. Goat hides are used for some side quests, so it's always good also to have some of them back. But keep in mind also the wild animals also can attack you. The goats can ram into you, and the sheep, if you attack them from the eye, they actually kick you, so be careful when you attack them.
By the way, Theo, I'd like to say something, by the way. This game has a mini-map, which makes it easy to know where you're going. I mean, for as much as people say that the gameplay of this game is lackluster, it's already looking more entertaining to me than Blue Dragon.
That game really hurt you.
Well, I hear that's kind of been a common criticism of Yoko Taro's games aside from Automata.
Yeah, well, I know that.
Exactly.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the sad part is that this is still, at least so far, looking still more interesting than me than Blue Dragon's gameplay. That's the sad part.
That's our first dungeon, and we need to get to the top of it. It's
actually
more easy than it looks like.
Well, there's that criticism, and another big, from what I hear, another big criticism of Yoko Taro is that most of his characters are about as likable as. Well,
really? So far, they all seem likable to me.
From what I hear, they're about. I said most, not all, but I hear.
It's more about doubling interpretation. It's more about doubling the interpretation to some of them. In Drakengard, yes, most of its characters are actually very pure, unadulterated assholes. So you're right on that. For this game, it's all about interpretation, but you need to see through the end in order to judge.
They're about as likable as a guy
anyway,
blowing hot air on you during the
well, as you saw Coco Orange with us. I mean, that movie proves that you and even other stuff like House, like you can make a story about people that are technically unlikable and still make it work. It just depends on how you do it.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second on that, because hold on, it's about to happen. Yeah, this is our first dungeon, and as you can see, in pure tradition, since it's supposed to be the future, hold on, it's actually an abandoned building, which you will use probably for conferences and everything. And this track is actually one of my favorites of the entire game. It's called The Incomplete Stone, so I'm completely a cappella, and there are no music, there are no instruments used to it, but it's so atmospheric and has such a tone to it that I really loved it.
Yeah, the music is great so far in this game. This area is giving me huge Deadly Premonition vibes.
I still haven't played that game. I only know barely anything about it.
You can get it on the you can get it on the PS3. Though I would recommend getting it on the 360, but you don't have it. But I guess you can still get it. The problem is sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually got it on Steam. I don't know when, but I actually got it.
Oh,
so.
it's the director's cut, isn't it? Though.
Yeah.
The problem, maybe they fixed it for the PC version, or maybe there's even a fan-made patch. But the thing is, the director's cut was originally made for the PS3 because the original PS3 version never came out in the West. The problem is that even though the director's cut has some extra cutscenes, the frame rate is kind of atrocious in the director's cut, at least in the PS3. I don't know if they fixed it for the Steam release.
In that case, if in the PC case, even if it's again, I'll probably find some mods to fix that.
Yeah. All right then.
Anyway, this dungeon has a particular structure. You jump on one floor, you go to one floor, and you need to follow this circular path between these doors with items and enemies in it. For now, it's all clear and tranquil, but trust me, it will become more intense in a bit.
So what you're saying, Tio, is that they're the Japanese version of Bethesda then?
Sorry, Dweebs, I don't see any. No, there's not too much open world here.
When I did that
I meant they released their games in a buggy state and you have to rely on the fans to fix it for them.
Not necessarily. That depends on each game each game separately. Even Dark Souls on PC suffered at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. When I do the premonition for the channel, I'll just do the 360 version, and then I'll do a special video with the new director's cut cutscenes, just for the sake of having a more stable playthrough.
Sure.
And not to mention, trust me, the new cutscenes in the director's cut, trust me, they're not at all worth investing into the game a second time at all. I bought it just basically because I love that game so much that I just really wanted to finally get it on the PS3, but damn that frame rate.
I don't even know what it's about. It's like a horror game or something.
No, that's the thing, Teo. There is no other game I'd like Deadly Premonition. You have never played a game like Deadly Premonition 2. Just trust me on that.
There is a fishing minigame, but I know barely anything.
Well, so is Final Fantasy 15.
Is it a good game or a bad game?
No,
it's an experience.
Okay, Shayla, let me put it this way, Shirai. It's the most amazing, terrible game ever made.
Okay.
Okay.
Like it's a terrible game that's a ton of fun to play. I'll just say that, and the story is one of the most. Let's just say the story will have you scream "What the fuck" in both hilarious and genuine ways a shit ton throughout. Just trust me on that. Yes, Joe, you were gonna ask me something?
God, I had it.
Developers of that game went on to make Drakengard 3.
Shoot, what were we talking about when I was?
Access Games worked in Drakengard 3.
Pedro.
Yeah,
what were we talking about when I?
Well, the thing, Pedro. By the time after this game, Kavya team got disbanded, so Yoko Taro didn't join any other particular team, so it was forced to work on its own, but with other teams.
So you're telling me, Teo, that Yoko Taro and Square are friends? Okay, suddenly this all makes more sense now.
Who? Sorry?
Square is the creator of Deadly Premonition.
Okay.
And let's just say his games are really kooky as well.
Gee, Pedro, this perspective seems clear.
Oh, hi, Zelda.
Yes, for this particular dungeon, we're going to use...
Please tell me...
They're reaching back for that.
Please tell me we have a cute jingle at the end.
Not in this dungeon, but we have something like that for that later, Pedro. Trust me.
Alright, I'll do it myself.
Oh, and they also made an Ace Combat game.
I don't think a cute jingle would fit this atmosphere.
But
Actually, there's a surprisingly amount of comedy in this game, but it's so well balanced, at least for me.
have you ever seen any cutscenes from the Premonition too?
Maybe one
Because
or two.
after this, I have to show you. Because trust me, like that game, and I'll show you to share and do it as well. Because trust me, that game is a unique case.
I remember there are some cases that it's similar to Silent Hill in a sense, but there's bad characters who's yelling a lot.
Actually, Tail, considering you're a huge Twin Peaks fan, let's just say that the premonition is basically a demented Japanese version of Twin Peaks.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. That game takes so much from Twin Peaks. It's actually kind of insane.
So it'd be like if basically that'd be
Also-
the closest we'll get to seeing David Lynch
Yeah,
make a video
also
game.
pay attention to one thing. Those little shades, they're not attacking us.
Let me guess. This is like in Persona, where this is actually her hiding place or something.
No, but also no guessing until the end, because I don't want anyone to accidentally guess the plot twist. Anyway.
This is all a dream.
Too easy. Also, I guess it's a good time to talk about what I think that Pedro mentioned a bit before. About Yoko Taro's writing. Because Yoko Taro wrote this game much like he wrote the first Drakengard and then wrote Drakengard 3 and Automata. Taro has told in the past, and he's telling now that one of his method of writing is actually a backward writing. He starts from the ending and then goes all
I've
the
heard
way
that
back
too.
to the beginning. It's very weird, but from what
Well, if
I've
it works
seen,
for him.
yeah, what I've seen in its products so far, it seems to work. Keep in mind, one of the major reasons, because as I mentioned, one of the problems is that this game, while telling you the basic information you need, misses a lot on its details because of Square's meddling, as I will go more into detail later. Aside from that, Taro's writing actually works, and it sees later. It works just fine in his other next games, because those were not too much hindered. Drakengard 3 was a bit hindered by Square, in a sense that was forced to be a digital release only for the West, and it had a fuck ton of DLC. Automata instead worked out just peachy, and thanks to the Platinum Games collaboration, it managed to have a smooth gameplay and a complete plot, thank goodness. So at least it's just a problem of the fact that Taro never had, up until a certain point, a huge budget to work with. But again, don't worry, Dweebs. All the essential informations are told in the game, thankfully. Anyway, up to the next stairs, because the main ones were actually crumbled from the gentry, and we got our first new weapon actually, the Nirvana dagger. It's a good time to say also these things. Weapons have a sort of weight system, but it doesn't work in a sense that it slows you down. It slows just the speed of attack. The more heavy is a weapon, the slower the attack it is. But honestly, the difference is actually very minimal. It's just the difference of the bulkiness of the weapon. For example, this one is huge, so it has a bit more huge attack radius compared to the one we just started with. Later weapons have a different type of attack, and Papa NieR you can also hold the square button to do a charge attack, but honestly I used it only once in the entire game. Because you don't mash the attack button in order to break their guards, but so again, you don't really need the charge attack. You just need to mash it. Anyway, again, as you can see, hold on, and there you go. As you can see, again, the little shades are not attacking us, but for now it's just for this particular dungeon. Later on, they'll too start attacking us, but pay attention, please. Keep that in the back of your head. For now, let's just keep going, because I think we're actually close to the next set of fixed camera dungeon. Sorry.
We're coming up to the next Zelda dungeon.
The dungeons in this game, well, obviously are inspired by Zelda, but they're not too complex. They don't involve stuff like big puzzles or anything.
Considering the types of stories, at least from what I've heard that he makes, I'm actually surprised that he's a fan of Zelda. I'm guessing he grew up with it.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, because Zelda stories tend to be much more simple compared to his, so I don't know. It just feels kind of weird for him to be a fan of that.
Keep in mind the thing is also.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember one of the other people? Am I cutting again?
Oh, sorry. Could you repeat that? You cut out for me.
Yeah, I think he's cutting out.
Well, we lost you. He was
Sorry,
such a
Teo.
good member to us, but it seems we have to move on like the Top Gear Club.
This means that I must now take over. I have to take over the NieR commentary.
So,
When this put on, I will be recording the rest.
So,
What a
so
twist.
hang on, wait, Joe. If you're saying that, does that mean one of us has to punch a producer in the face and we get fired?
You're the
That's what
producer.
So Pedro punches me in the face. So that means I get to fire.
I don't know. I'm far too. I'm far too. Dwebs. Come on, Dwebs. Give me some credit. I'm against violence, especially if it's towards me. I mean, come on.
Anyway,
Hello to you.
as I was mentioning, one of the arguments of Yoko Taro is that he kind of sounds like a grumpy old man that says, "Oh, back in my day, games were better. The industry these days is shit, everything." But so in a sense, it couldn't make sense that he wants to pay homage to the retro. Of
Yeah, I
Zelda.
guess. Which is a fun fact, considering you said that much like that specifically, much like Taro does the games he does because he doesn't like the way gaming has become nowadays. I can see what you're talking about in terms of Taro, but I never saw that with Hino's work. I mean, what makes you think Hino does what he does specifically? No. Wait, I did? When did I say that? What? I mean, Hino does the games he makes because he likes making games for children. That's basically what he told us, at least. And maybe there's some other motive, but
Yeah, and that's one of the.
okay. Okay. How about this? Maybe it's more like me. I'm assuming that he probably thinks that not. Oh, I think he's. Okay.
No.
You're breaking up again.
No.
Yeah, sorry.
No, wait, hold on. I heard him.
Yeah, I'm just hearing you. Go ahead. Ted.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, great. Okay, for the record, just to make sure. If I did, I probably was drunk because I don't at all. I should not have said something like that because I don't know if that's why Hino does games for kids. But he said specifically in behind the scenes stuff that he wanted to make games for kids because it's what he's passionate about, and he thought it would bring out his talent more. However, I do kind of assume that probably it's also a good thing for him to do the way it is because a lot of developers nowadays think of making games mostly aimed at adults and adults only, and it's kind of sucks when you think about it because I mean kids should be allowed to get quality games as well. I mean, why do all? Yeah, go ahead, Trevor.
It's like one of the problems with comic books. Remember when comics were for kids? Nowadays, comic books tend to be rather gory at times.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Like,
I don't have a problem with
seriously.
gory entertainment.
Okay.
The kids deserve stuff too.
Oh, just do a comparison. In New 52, Joker literally has his face ripped off. This isn't a...
The supposed gore hero at the time, Lobo, was replaced by a thing that was supposed to be for children, so they got that backward.
And you know what's weird is the fact that, look, Lobo, of course, had to be toned down for the actual TV show, Superman the Animated Series. But they still managed to retain what made Lobo fun. Seriously, why is it that the external media seems to have a better job actually drawing in audience of all ages than the comic books? Well, okay, DC Rebirth is finally doing that job properly, but gosh darn.
Pay attention to the moving or pulling box animation because they actually put extra detail into it. Go ahead, Joe, in the meantime.
Yeah, it's like, seriously though, it's like, they wonder why people don't get into comics. Well, it's stupid mistakes when writers assume that people cannot get attachment to characters unless they do stupid stuff. Like, for instance, I'm not kidding you, the reason One More Day was done was because Joe Quesada's main argument was that, the usual comic book reader cannot relate to a married man who has a job as a teacher. Yeah, for reference, at that time, Peter had actually grown out of his Daily Bugle job and was actually a teacher, in addition to being married, and possibly on his way to being a father.
Or here's my theory: he's angry that he still hasn't gotten laid, so he's taking it out on us.
Actually, Joe Quesada has a daughter who he based Peter's new love interest off of.
I don't know, Joe. That's what but that's what adoption centers are for.
Yeah, okay. You know, for as much as one more.
Have I ever mentioned that I hate Chokozada?
Oh, you know, no, trust me. I cannot wait to get to the point where we start ripping apart. By the way, Shuri, this is going to be one of those rare comic book days when we actually do involve you. Well, I can't wait till when we get to ripping apart.
Is
Not
he
only.
still dead?
Yeah, I think she's burp.
Anyway, but yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
let me just finish what I was saying, though. Is something important now?
Well, just saying that to transition because in the next part we'll
okay.
actually enter
Sorry.
this room and face our first boss.
Didn't even notice.
Ooh.
I mean, these parts go. I'm really liking this game so far. I don't know. Even
me
the
too,
gameplay,
actually.
even the
there you are,
gameplay,
Shuri.
for as basic as it is, it seems decent enough. So maybe it's because I'm
Yeah.
not playing it. Maybe the controls are worse than they look. But
Again, I'll let you guys be the judgment at the end.
what are your thoughts on the controls, Tio?
Very okay. A bit stiffy at times, but very okay to me. I've seen worse.
yeah,
Like I said,
I
I mean,
agree.
the first part was a bit slow, but it's actually quickly
Slow.
picking up, I guess.
Well, because I was stuck in with that gameplay, with that part in the
Well,
prologue.
it
remember
felt
the
slow
tutorial.
to me at least. So,
alright,
but now
sure.
everything seems fine now.
Anyway,
now
as I
everything
mentioned, in the
is-
next part we'll tackle on our first boss, actually meet my favorite character of the game. See ya.
Oh, goody.
See ya.
See ya.